It's People to People, the People podcast of the DMV. It's not about you, it's not about me, it's about we, and God we trust. Sir Rod and Lady Z, PTP. Positive thinking people. Positive thinking people. Positive thinking people. Every Monday night. Every Monday. Every Wednesday night. Every Wednesday. Every Friday night. Friday. Every Monday night. Monday. Every Wednesday night. Every Wednesday. Every Friday night. Friday day night. Every Monday night. Monday. Every Wednesday night. Wednesday. Hello. Welcome, everybody that's tuning in. I send peace and blessings to you. It's Let's Talk About It Wednesday. I'm your host, Rodney Grimes, on the People Podcast, People to People. Hey, you know how we do it. So how do I come about my topics? I'm kind of in my feelings on some things, and so the topic today is, do you understand my brother? And when I say this means to male and females. I just use the topic, do you understand my brother? And this is white, black, Asian, I don't care who it is, but I'm going to talk about some things just real, and we're dealing with today. And there's a couple of things that I'm going to be talking about, but the number one I'm going to start on is this. Are we really aware of what's going on with us? I'm talking about in society, in this country, in the world, the overall fact that we are suffering from so many diseases and things that are causing us issues moving forward to live a prosperous life, a healthy life. And I want you to think about some things that I'm going to share with you, because it's very important that we pay attention to this. I'm talking about what you're feeding your children right now. About a week or so ago, I had a young lady on Ginger Deaf. And we was talking about how she does the core, the drip, the vitamin drip, and we was talking about food. And I want to talk about how important it is to watch what we do with our body. Now, I had her on the program because what she does helps a lot of people, and I'm talking in different areas. But the topic today is really, do you understand? Do you understand my brother? Do you understand my sister as well? But do you understand what we are doing to our body and how we are killing ourselves and what's going on? Now, this is going to be jumping back and forth because it's what I'm talking about. It plays a lot what went on in the past and where we are today. Okay. And some of this is going to go back to some slavery time. Okay. And I want y'all to pay attention because I'm going to be talking about two factors. One, what we put in our body and how we are treating our bodies today. And the other thing is how we're actually treating ourselves among each other. But let's talk about the food part first. If you remember many years ago, and they showed this in the movies and stuff like that, back in the slavery time, it was a lot of us who the Africans that were brought over to work the fields and things of that nature. They used to throw all the garbage out to them for them to eat, right? And because of the nature of these individuals, they knew how to manage to make it work so that they could still eat and survive. Now, during the process of this, we start to realize that some of the stuff that they thought was garbage that they was throwing out there to the blacks were able to convert it into a situation where they made it something that they sell in the grocery store today. And one thing would be chitlins. Think about it. So who want to eat some intestines, right? Who want to eat that? I don't. If you do, that's fine. But I want you to just think about this. Everything that we have been eating and what we are right now. Okay, so what happened in the process of all this going on, we talking about the food industry, the people who are here producing things. it got past the fact of dealing with stuff that's healthy for your body. They starting to put it out there just to feed you, and it's about money. We talking about the fruits, the meats and everything. You know, I didn't realize until I talked to a friend of mine and he was telling me about how they put red dye on the meat in order for the meat to still look fresh and look like it's red and have blood in it. And all of these things, you know, we don't pay attention to, right? Do you understand? Do you understand, my brother? Do you understand, my brother? And now I'm telling you, we got a lot of things that's going on with us that's really affecting us in a very, very, very funny way. And we got to be careful because of what's going on. Okay? We talking about the fruits. We talking lemons that's big like oranges. We talk about apples that's shiny that you can almost see your face in them. And apples don't shine like that. And we're talking about all these things we put in our body now. I'm gonna be going back and forth, but you got to work with me, okay? And I was thinking about this because I was watching some movies. Now y'all gonna be like, Rodney all over the place today, but no, I'm not. Actually, I'm talking about something I want to do. Any of us really understand what has taken place over the last 100 years. I'm only 63 years old, but I'm talking over the last 100 years. We talking about 100 years ago, there was still slavery going on, still a lot of negative energy going on, and we weren't. And 100 years ago, also the food wasn't being processed the way it is. Okay, now I told you I'm gonna have two directions I'm going in my conversation, and it has a lot to do with slavery and some of the ways that we've been dealing with the things in this country, even with the way we treat our bodies. And y'all gonna follow me and see where I'm going with this. The main thing we're talking about the food right now. You got to watch what you're eating. Rodney too. Okay. No, I'm not living. I'm not living the way I really should. I'm working on it. I'm conscious about some things I eat, and some days I find myself just cold blooded, just not caring, and that's not good because as we get older, everything that you put in your body, you are what you eat. And if you putting all this garbage in your body, I'm gonna tell you, after you get over 50, your body's gonna start to tell exactly what you've been putting in there by the things that's going to be coming up with the cancer, diabetes, and all these things. All of a sudden, man, we got everybody I talk to dealing with diabetes. Come on, that's crazy. Why? Why? We got so much cancer going on. Why? We can go on the moon. A plane can fly over the Pacific Ocean and blow up, and they can find a box in the Pacific Ocean. All that water. We're talking about we can put a satellite in orbit and see all over the world. We can talk on the phone right now, or we can send a text message right now from here in on the DMV all the way to Okinawa, Japan, and it can get there in seconds. That's powerful, right? That's powerful. Do you understand, my brother? Listen to me. Listen to me. So now look at the food. Look at what's going on with us. You know what really started to get me? Did you remember when you could drink your water? Now, you know, how many people drink the water out the faucet? Do you know you don't even really, I bet you buildings that are being built now, you don't see water fountains being put in them because people ain't going to drink out of them. For real, for real. Because we're looking at the way we are going about things. And it's not so much about being healthy in different areas with different people. They're not giving us what we really need. And we got to become conscious of it and make a big difference in how we are treating ourselves. Do you understand, my brother? Do you understand? I'm saying, I'm talking about the foods that's going into the grocery stores. And I'm going to tell you something else. Y'all can pay attention to this or not, but you can go in certain areas. You're going to see meats look a certain area in one part of the town. You go to another part of the town, the meat's going to look a little different. I'm telling you. I know for a fact that in some places, what they do is they come pick up the meat, they'll rewrap it, put another date on it, and move it to another location. And then these people are eating this food. Okay. So I don't want to be like, bashing, the farmers and them, because I don't know exactly who is really doing this, but it's happening. Because there's no way that we should have all these people still dying from cancer, and having this diabetes and all these other, and then we even got COVID. We got all these other diseases just popping up like it's nothing. Now you can't even cough around a person because you're so scared of catching something. But half of it is our immune systems. Our immune systems are beat down. And what causes our immune systems to be beat down is what we're putting in our bodies. We got to be conscious about that. Do you understand? I mean, seriously. And you know what's making me think about this is when I'm seeing the elderly people now who are struggling to survive. I remember many years ago, before my grandfather passed away, he had died at 91 years old. But I remember my grandfather used to eat in everything that he wanted. But it was a different perspective on things. I remember a grocery store that was called Santuda's in Alexandria, Virginia. Everything in there was fresh when you went in there. You might seen a hog head, pig feet. You might seen steak. You might even saw chillings in there. But I can tell you that that one store, that everything that they had in there, you could tell it was freshly brought in, from the vegetables to everything. And I remember that a long time ago, right? And when I say a long time ago, not that long ago, because I'm only 63 years old. But we don't have stores like that anymore. We don't have the mom and pop stores that's really bringing you the fresh and real fruits and things. 90% of the places you go now, your grapes don't have seeds in it. Okay, your oranges are big like this. Some of your oranges look like small cantaloupe. Okay, you got lemons big as oranges. We got all these things that are really an issue with us, and we got to pay attention to what we're doing. One of I have a couple that's a very good. They're very good friends of me and my wife, and Faustine and Charles King. And I know they don't mind me speaking on this because they have become so food conscious that is unreal. But to understand what they're doing and what they have really tapped into is amazing. See, they tapped in to what has been given to them to put into their body. And what they did is start to become aware of it. And many of us, even me, here, when I see that I'm really sick or something start to happen to me, I start to think about, what did I eat? We had a couple of some friends of mine, or I want to say they was friends of mine, and I'm not going to talk too much in detail, but they had got sick, and I was talking to one of them today. He was telling me that it was something that he ate. In these restaurants, man, we don't know what the people doing behind the doors, and they half the time they don't want you to see. Now, again, we got to be conscious about what we put in our bodies, and what we put in our bodies affects our thinking. It affects us in all kind of ways, our moods, everything. And we got to go back to putting the right things in our body and taking care of our body, so when we start to get older, we'll be able to function properly. One of the things that I start to think about, even with the kids, I remember in this in the 80s, and when my kids was born, I was wondering, and I was looking around at the other kids. I was like, why in the hell are these kids so big? Why are kids coming out? I'm talking about kids coming out, man. I'm talking about really large. We talk about young females, 11, 12, 13 years old, got bodies like women. We got young guys, man, walking around that their father is 5'5" and the boy is 6'2". Okay, his mother is 5'4". And you looking at him, you be like, okay, and he look just like you, so it ain't nobody. You know what I'm saying? It's your son, but he's way bigger than you are. Why? Stuff that's been put in the food, stuff that we've been putting in our bodies. And I'm gonna tell you, it is really important for us to pay attention to that. So a lot of us that's going to see this, let me tell you something. Please start to pay attention to what you are eating. Pay attention, and pay attention to what's going on around you. And something else, I'm going to shift it a little bit. I'm going to tell you something else that's really been bothering me too. So, I just recently paying attention to what I watch on television. I'm not going to put my business out there too much, but anyway, we kind of like changed the direction in some things. So we kind of in control of what we see. So, I noticed, when had you ever noticed that all the movies that with black people, I know y'all don't want me to go there, but you know, so let's go to the movies that if it goes back to the old days. Why do they always portray us as stupid or lame or submissive? I watched a couple of movies the last couple of days that really bothered me, and in there it was also about the food. I was watching. They showed in the big house they was eating all the luxury food, and the slaves was eating garbage. They was out there cooking their food around a bonfire or something, like had a big bucket in or whatever. And but what really got me was in the process of this, uh, everybody was acting stupid. Everybody was acting like they were scared that they didn't have no sense of pride in when certain individuals around. And what bothers me is a lot of times people don't want to talk about that right now. But we need to not forget what was going on, and we also need to tell the truth about things. I know it kind of sounds like I'm all over the place, but this had a lot to do with the food, the way that we was being fed, a lot of what we were eating and how we changed things as we was going forth. And we weren't back then, a lot of them wasn't dying from diabetes and cancer and stuff. Like they was living a long time. Matter of fact, when some of the individuals who was owning slaves, they was using the big black women to feed their babies. Why? That because it was some nutrients coming out them women, and they used to do that, right? So when I be watching these programs, I be looking, and I sometimes my wife would say, Rodney, please don't start dissecting the programs, but I do, and I start to think about things like you never see where it was a plantation and about five black men got together and say, yo, you're not gonna beat me anymore. You're not gonna rape my mother. You're not gonna rape my sister. I ain't seen not one movie like that yet. A long time ago, I saw one movie. It was called. I don't want to say the N. I don't like saying the N word, but it was called the. How do I say it without having to say the word? But it was Charlie in Charlie. Okay, if you get me, right? That was the name of the movie. It wasn't in Charlie, but it was the word that starts with an N that, a lot of people don't, we say so freely like it's nothing. But anyway, I try not to say it. And that was the only movie that I saw that this guy who was a cowboy and he was riding around and he was fighting back and they was coming after him. And I mean, he could shoot and everything. That was the only movie I ever saw like that was for real, showing a black man that was handling his business. And so I just thought about that when I was watching the movie the other day. Do you understand, my brother? Let me tell you something. And when I say, do you understand, my brother, this is just not for some black folks. This is for white folks too. Let's get to the point. Don't try to play like we cover up things that happened back then. Let's deal with the truth. We wonder why we're so out of control right now. Half of what you see, and somebody told me this the other day, and he was really powerful what he said. He said a lot of people don't buy by thinking. They buy from seeing, right? Half of us don't even understand how we are being manipulated into different situations to cause us to respond a certain way. Like, okay, and I'm going to go back and forth to the food thing and then talk about also where we are as a people right now. They put this food out there, they make it look pretty. Guess what? We eat it. Next thing you know, we got diabetes and cancer. Why? Because somebody not dealing with it straight up and putting what they need to put out there for us to keep us healthy and alive and living a long time. Also, the programs that we're watching, we got it so that now the kids, everything they put out there pretty much is about sex, is about killing, is about drugs, it's about Rob Shilling when it comes to black people, right? A lot of it. But we don't see a lot of it that talk about the real warriors that came from Africa. And some came, believe me. And when my mind be going, I'll be wondering, like when I see the westerns and I don't see no black people in the town, and if I do see him, he ain't got no shoes, he don't have no shoes on. He can't go in and he can't go get a beer out of the bar, out of the saloon, um, things like that. And it really bothers me because I'll be wondering, I know darn well you can get 100 black men, at least 25 of them probably told Mr. Mr. Matthew or whatever you want to call him, home, you're gonna have to kill me today because you're just not gonna beat me, you know. And it's funny that we don't see that. We don't see that. Now, why am I talking about that? Do you understand, my brother? Okay. When your kids, I remember my son was in elementary school and they was talking about black history or something, and the lady teacher wanted my son to write an article about slavery, and so I when I found out about it, I told her he wasn't gonna write it. I said my son ain't writing about no slavery. Why would he do that? Why did they really even try to teach people, have that in the schools, talking about slavery, and now all you can see is black people walking around with chains on them and things of that nature? What do that do to our mind? You know what it does? Exactly what's happening right now. It got us where a lot of our young people are running buck wild. They don't understand their true nature of who they are, the power they possess. Yeah, we get quite a few that do, but they don't show that. And where are we? We ignore so many things. I'm jumping back and forth. We ignore what's being put in the food, and we ignore what is put in our minds. And it's important that we pay attention to that. So I'm not trying to ravel nobody's feathers. I'm just trying to get you so that you think about what's going on. Why are the kids so out of control? Do you know that when we look at the movies, and I think about this, I look at the Western movies and I see the Indians in there, right? And the Indians they be coming up knowing that these guys are shooting guns at them, right? Right? They run up with a hatchet running into the gate. Okay? They have a hatchet. You know what a hatchet is, right? So they got bow and arrows. They riding up to the gate, and they just riding up, and it be about 50 of them. They don't spread out or nothing. All of them riding up, and they can see their boys falling off the horses. This is in the movie, right? And I'm wondering, how does that make the Indians feel when they watch that on television, if they watch it? Me as a black man, I want to see things that empower me. I don't want to see every time I turn around, we still today got movies being made about slavery, and what they do, they rape our women, they molest the men, and they beat us, and I'm talking about one white guy with 50 people around and ain't nobody there, and he beats them and don't nobody do anything. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Ain't no way in the hell that happened like that. I ain't saying that that it was they didn't have a group that said, hey, yo, I ain't trying to die today or whatever. But I'm telling you, it had to be some of them that was saying, yo, you're not going to hit me with that thing. And after you hit me, I'm coming back. And the reason why it bothers me, because I look at what we do to the mind and what we see and we project on a daily basis, even with the news. I'm getting to the point I don't want to watch the news. They're not talking about the students that's going to school and getting A's and B's and trying to go to college. They're talking about these knuckleheads out here that's carjacking and doing these things, the negative things, killing each other. Now, yeah, you want people to know what's going on, but let me tell you something. Let's talk about some positive things and talk about some truth. Because there's no way in today's time that you're going to tell me that it's more killing than it is people doing good. I don't believe that. And what does it do to our thinking? What does it do to our morale? What does it do to us as a people? I'm talking, this ain't got nothing to just do with your skin color. I'm just talking about all of us. You know, I talked to some white people, and when I start talking about the way the blacks was treated in this country, half of them don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. They want to play like it didn't happen, but it did. And a lot of that things that happened back then affect us today where we are today. We got black on black crime that's so crazy. It's so crazy. The black on black crime is out of control. Why? Because you know something? If you keep seeing on television that we are illiterate, that we can't, do things and have our own businesses and stuff like that, then we won't do it. We'll just fall into the trap. A lot of people didn't even know this. When you go to the movies, and I learned this a long time ago, that they put subliminal messages on the movie. You don't even see it. It's kind of naked to your vision, but it's there. Slowly they got it so that they got Coca-Cola and things like that. Hey, my brother Glenn, I just answered. I'm actually doing live right now, so they can hear you. How you doing, man?
You said Coca-Cola what now?
No. I'm on live right now. I'm doing a live. Oh, okay. So this the people can hear you. Can I call you? Can I call you back? What? Yeah, sure. Or you want to talk with me a little bit? Hey, they can hear you.
What we talking about?
Well, right now, so what I'm talking about, the topic is, do you understand my brother? And what I'm talking about, one of the things is what we put in our bodies as far as what we eat and how we dealing with the diabetes and the cancer and all that. People need to be very, very conscious about, what they're feeding themselves, for one. The other topic is that I'm talking about is some of the things that are being shown on the television with all the movies and things like that. Like I keep seeing these movies that made about slavery, and I haven't seen one movie that really, or two, that show a black man that he said, you're not going to beat me no more. You're not going to rape my people. You know what I mean? And it kind of bothered me because it made me feel like that no black man stood up to the slave owners. And I mean, do you think that was like that?
I know that what's his name? I'm trying to think is the one slave that they
Kunta Kinte.
No. He rebelled against what's his name? I can't remember his name. I'm trying to think his name. He rebelled against the master and took up arms against them and started to kill the master, and they went out. They went on just a war against the slave masters. And so, what's his name? Damn, I'm trying to think his name. Okay.
You know what? We may not know his name, but some of them existed.
And yeah, well, damn, it just went across. They captured him and they killed him. His name just passed through my head. So we'll keep talking.
Yeah, but so my point is this. So what I'm trying to say is this. Many of us, we try to figure out why we in this situation where we are. We talking a lot of people dying from bad health, not taking care of their bodies. You and I had this conversation the other day on the phone where we were talking about, I'm not calling people names, but we talking about different people who weren't taking care of their bodies, and now they're older and they're in bad shape, right? Some of them dead, right? Okay. So at the same time, I'm also talking about the black on black crime and things that's going on, and how we are being portrayed, and how do we portray ourselves. And the topic today is, do you understand my brother? Deal with the truth. Had you seen any movies from back in any westerns where you saw some real live cowboys that was handling their business, other than the one Jamie Foxx made?
It was one more. I just can't think of the name of
it. Do you remember? I don't use the word. I don't like using the N word, but you remember many years ago it had the one, and it said It was the N word, and the dude name was Charlie. Do you remember that movie?
Not really. I probably have seen it, but it's not coming back to my memory.
Okay, that's my point. How many movies you seen where you saw it was a group of black men riding around defending the slaves and stuff like that?
Not very many, if at all.
Right. That's my point.
If at all.
So this is not about bashing enough. I'm just talking about just dealing with the truths and the facts of things. We wonder why these young guys are out here out of control. You know why? Because we're not putting the right things into their mind. We're not letting them see the right things. Even me at 63, I sit back and watch. Sometimes it's certain movies I just can't look at. I just can't look at it. When you got 20 men on picking cotton, and one white guy on a horse with a gun, and he walk up and he slap him and he don't do nothing. I just don't get it.
Yeah, well, they only show you that, they only depict that, but back in the day, they were a group of men that were watching over the slaves. It wasn't just one. They give you a depiction of, the story reality that probably that's what it was, but it was more than that. No, it was actually a lot of it was a group of them, because they had the slaves all over the place. Slaves would run at times, so one person couldn't watch 20 slaves out there taking cotton. Think about that.
Right.
One person can watch 20 people. So they had a bunch of people out there watching them. They just depicted it like that when they showed the movie, like it's only one guy here, he's holding a gun, and ain't nobody going nowhere. No, people was running every day.
Yeah.
People was running every day because they rather die. Some of them rather said, I'd rather be dead than to sit up there and pick cotton. So they was running every day. That's definitely not the case on that. So, but to your point, it's just history is best qualified to reward the research. That's one of Malcolm's quotes. History is best qualified to reward the research, and that's why I come in at. I'm just going to share a little bit, and I'm going to keep on moving. I ain't going to wrap you up. But history is best qualified to reward the researcher, and I learned through reading history books how I learned about history, how I learned about my history, how I learned what we came through, what we've been through, where we headed, and where we should be headed, where we're not going anytime soon, because of we still have people that are stepping on our throats, should I say?
Right.
We still got the master. The master's always gonna step on our throat. Two kings cannot share the same space. If you get that,
right?
What I'm saying? Two kings cannot share the same space. And so, with that being said, these people are going to keep their foot on our throat as long as they can. They know they have a short time to rule, and their time is pretty much beginning to unravel. But at the same time, each one of us has got to teach one of us. That's how we get to grow. That's how we get to get people out of these same when I say hula hoop moves, because you're just going around in circles.
Right.
Going around in circles. So history is best qualified research, because you can't. If you learn your history, you won't become a repeater of your history.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's why Malcolm said that. So I just wanted just a little bit. You kind of got me in a little situation here, but I'm just trying to think when I'm riding down the road here. But it's cool though.
Yeah.
That's a good topic though. That's a good topic, man, and I would like to expound more. I'm gonna get on. I'm gonna call in on another day, probably when you you can call me, should I say?
Right.
When you have one of these type discussions where I'm sitting around where I got time to really elaborate. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, and I appreciate it. Something. The reason why I was saying it, and here it is I'm just looking at where we are, man. And I know that you being a black man, and I know you're conscious about what you eat, your body, you're working out and things of that nature. We talked about that the other day. And a lot of us have to be conscious about that, but also we got to also be conscious about what we feed our mind, and the little ones around us, and they want to know why everybody's out of control, because they don't know the history and they don't know the truth about the history. And where are we? That we running blind in many, many ways, and it's real crazy. I appreciate you talking to me.
Let me say this before I go. In food, because you mentioned it, food is one of the number one killers of us because we haven't been taught the proper foods to eat. You know, we were only given food after the master got through with whatever he had on his table. He would throw the rest to us. So we ate whatever we had to eat because we starved. You know what I'm saying? So we ate what was left. We grew up. All of us grew up eating corn, eating black eyed peas, eating different types of. I'm trying to just name a few because some of these are not
healthy.
Good at all for the body. Peanuts, because all these are hard on your digestive system.
Right.
And these foods were made for animals, not human consumption.
Right.
That's why when you eat a peanut, it goes through you. It comes out the same way that it went in because your digestive system don't break it down.
Like corn.
Same thing. It's right. Same thing. It's like corn. Same thing with corn. It goes in your digestive system. Same thing with black eyed peas, whether you know it or not.
Right.
Black eyed peas the same way. It's not a great bean to eat. It's one of the worst beans to eat, actually, but we're eating it. But that's another whole story. But like I say, just a few things that that's on the table, that on everybody's kitchen table, that they don't even know the history about. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One of the most nutritious beans that you can ever eat would be the navy bean. There's so many medicines and products that have came out of the navy bean, and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
Google when you get time. Google the navy bean, and I'm gonna leave it at that. We're gonna talk again. Just hit me up.
Okay, bro. All right.
All right, bro. Love you, bro. I appreciate y'all having me on, bro.
Man, I love you too, bro. Peace and blessings.
All right. Peace.
Yeah, I tell you, Susan Pritchard, she says movies with this is depicted what the so-called the man wants us to see, and some of us more than I would like to see fall for it or use as an excuse. I'm telling you, we are in a position now, and I'm not mad at Tyler Perry and who I admire him. If it's somebody I really want to meet, he's one gentleman I want to meet. But I'm gonna tell you something. I would love to see him do a Western movie where they're not allowing nobody to use the N word, where they fighting back and they going with some respect in hearing that. I want to see a movie where they really talk about Wall Street, Black Wall Street, how that was. Let me tell you something I found out about that. Go about the history. Excuse me. Who do you think destroyed Black Wall Street? Do you really think that it was the rich white people? Do you really think it was them? Back then, the rich white people wasn't worried about no Black Wall Street. It was the poor white people, the poor ones, the ones who saw Black people moving forward. They were the ones that was upset. The rich ones didn't care. They was going on about their business. And a lot of us don't understand, if you go back and check, they found excuses to find reasons to destroy and to belittle us so that we don't have the mentality to say that we are powerful and just as powerful as everybody else. When we think about everything just been invented, we got so many things that were invented by Black people, but yet white people claim it. And these are the things we gotta get to a point where we as a people got to tell the truth so that we can see a better outcome. Why you think these young boys is out here robbing and stealing? This ain't nothing. This is by design. It's by design. And let me tell you something. If it's enough white kids getting killed in a certain area, they're going to find out. I don't know what's going on in the streets in our Black neighborhoods that we got 3 and 4 and 5 people getting killed and they don't find a suspect. That they don't have all these cameras and things like that. And y'all can't find out who doing all this killing? Come on now. That doesn't make sense to me. Let's just deal with the facts. Do you understand, my brother? Because I'm telling you, it's no way that these people are going around. I'm talking about, we got sometimes 3 and 4 killings in one day, and they say no suspects. Every morning I don't even watch the news that much no more. I'm sick of it. Every time you turn around, it's about us killing ourselves, not doing anything positive. And I'm going to tell you something. When you watch the news, you hardly see any. Now, they show some white folks that done committed some crimes because they ain't got no other choice. But I'm going to tell you something. It's a lot more than what we see. And it just doesn't make sense. So my topic today is, do you understand, my brother? Come on, do you understand? And this ain't just for black people. This for white folks, too. Let's deal with the elephant in the room. I mean, we scared to go on the subway. Why? And in certain areas, you get on the subway, you're going toward Anacostia or something like that. I'm going to tell you something. Everybody holding on to the bags. You're going toward Tyson Corner, they're sitting back, putting their feet up, relaxing, falling asleep. Come on. We got to deal with the elephant in the room. We got to deal. Do you understand, my brother? And when I say this ain't just for black people, this for white people too. This for the Hispanics, everybody, all of us. Deal with the truth. And one of the things that really bothered me is when I'm seeing all these movies that portray us as these runaround. Let me tell you, I'm going to get back to that thing about with my son when they wanted my son to write a report about slavery. I told that white teacher, I said, look, my son not watching. He's not going to write that. She said, well, he going to fail. I said, you can give him an F now. He's not writing that. Why would you want my son to write about something he don't know about? He ain't never had no handcuffs on him, no chains, and walking with no balls, dragging him down the street. And you want him to write about something that you drew in a book or something like that? No. My son not writing about that. So give him the F. And she looked at me, well, Mr. Grimes, this is part of the curriculum. Let me tell you something. Well, y'all need to straighten it out. Because let me tell you something. It's a lot of black heroes. Now, we looking at time changing. Let me tell you why. Because we got some fools out here that got guns too. And they ain't not all white. We got some black guys out here now that got guns, and they got guns that shoot just as bad and fast and hard as everybody else's. Now, what I'm saying is, let's deal with the truth. Do you understand, my brother? That's for everybody. Think about what you're putting in your body and think what you put in your mind. Think about what you're seeing. I'm going to tell you something. I get so depressed when I watch a movie about slavery and I don't see one powerful. Let me say, I was watching a movie the other day and I'm trying to think of the name of it. Oh, it was the movie about Sally Hemings. And she went to France. And so this is the movie about President Thomas, right? I hope I said that his name correctly, but you know who I'm talking about. And as I was watching the movie, I saw different areas where in one part of the world, blacks was moving around, boom, 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 boom. They still used the N-word here and there, but then they was talking, in certain areas like, hey, just call him mister. But when they came back to the United States, they went back to that whole slavery thing, beating them and whipping them. Oh my God, it really hurt me to my heart. It hurt me to my heart because we see this on television every day. And it's not just us. Like I said, I feel bad for the Indians. I'm trying to tell you, they make them look like some of the most stupidest individuals. For real. That you riding up and they got a rifle and you see your partner riding a horse and he got a bow and arrow and they shot him over 100 feet away or 50 feet away and you got to ride all the way up to you on the back of the horse and you got to ride all the way and then they up on top of the gate and you trying to shoot an arrow up there. You think that was that stupid? You think that for real? Do you know when we check the history, they didn't really kill them like that. They killed them by giving them diseases. They put them in positions where they was dying within. And half of them warriors, that's what they were. They was like, we'd rather be dead than to let you come out here and abuse us like you trying to do. And when we deal with the truth of the matter, it's what we see sometimes that really puts us in a confused state of thinking. Now, and don't get me wrong, I got a lot of white folks I love. Don't get me wrong. But you know what? Let me tell you something. When I watch those movies, it do something to me in my stomach. My grandfather, who retired 3 times, Mr. John Shepard, I'm going to tell you something. My grandfather was not to be played with. And he made every man respect him when he came on his property. And I understood why my grandfather was so stern about certain things. Because he that's why I'm like I am in a way. He was a proud black man. And I didn't see him showing no fear to many people. My grandfather would handle his business. You feel me? And some of the white men that came, that was the postman and the insurance man, my grandfather had his shotgun and he stopped them at the front yard and let them know, this is my property. And if you come on here and you don't act right, he will bust cap in your behind. Okay? Now, that not saying that it's about being mean or trying to kill other people, but it's about showing a sense of pride, a sense of, I am a warrior, I am a man. We got so many of our children, man, that just seeing this. And still today, how many movies do our kids see that we still let them watch and they looking at slavery? And you got one white man with 2 dogs and 20 black guys with chains around them, and they walking them down the road with no shoes on. I mean, okay, say 3 white men and 50 black men. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. And we talking about people getting whipped. I mean, like it's nothing. We know, we saw pictures, we seen the evidence, we know it happened. But what about the ones that stood up to fight back? You know, if I was to make a movie, I'm going to make a movie where I tell you what, it's going to be a few that's going to get whooped. But I'm going to tell you something, there's going to be a few that's going to say, yo, Holmes, you hit me again, I'm going to peel your head. I'd rather be dead. And I don't say that to be mean. It's just that, you know, for the way that we are and with society, man, and what they portray, what we see affects how we think. We wonder why the kids are all out of control. Half of the black kids, you're not showing them nothing to look forward to. What are you showing them? Give them something. You know, when we really go down to it, many years ago, it's getting time for I'm going to have to shut down. But let me tell you something. Many years ago, what you used to see the black kids on the basketball courts. You go in the neighborhood, you be looking for some black kids. You know where to find them, man. He down there, they balling, man. You don't see that these days. You don't see it. The recreation centers. You see more dog parks than you do see basketball courts. And we're looking at what we are today. And just to keep it real, let me tell you something. We done got so screwed up from the things that have been planted in our minds, in our subliminal mind, that we don't even know how to treat each other. Do you understand, my brother? And you know what? Don't get me wrong. Not all white people are bad. Not all black people are bad. Not all black people are dumb. Not all black people are killers. Not all white people are Klansmen and things of that nature. But I'm going to tell you something. When we talk, when we take the time and we talk about the truth of reality, do you know that many, many years ago, it was many, many black queens and kings? And it wasn't just because we was in Africa. And blacks have been powerful all over. And still today we do that. I don't care what sport we get in. If we get into it, now I'm gonna tell you some sports you ain't gonna see too many black folks in. Mountain climbing and stuff like that. You ain't gonna see too many brothers trying to do the mountain climbing. I'm trying to tell you. I ain't figured that one out yet. Why you want to climb a mountain that you can fall off of and bust your head open? I'm trying to tell you. Swimming with the sharks. I don't think you'll see too many brothers doing that either. You know, I don't think you're gonna see too many brothers. Every now and then, I remember Mike Tyson had a tiger. I bet you didn't keep it that long. I bet you got rid of that. I bet you got rid of it. When he saw them, I guarantee you, after he saw how big them teeth got, after a while he was like, "Yo, take that thing to the zoo." But my point is to keep it real. What we see with our mind, with our eyes, it affects our thinking. What you put in your body affects how you live. Here, today on my job, it was a few brothers. We were standing there talking, and all of us had big stomachs. Why? All of us had big stomachs. And guess what we was talking about? Diabetes. Like it's a regular conversation. But you know something? Be conscious. Be conscious of what you're eating and be conscious of what you're watching. Because it's going to make a difference in your life. And I'm talking about your kids too. You know what really got me? How did we start drinking cow's milk? I don't know. You know, milk come out the woman's titties. How did we start drinking cow's milk? Do cows drink human milk? I don't get it. We be drinking goat's milk when we ain't goats. We have gotten to the point that I tell you, we got so confused. And when we really think about God, he made it so that everything has a purpose. Everything. I've never seen so many people dying from cancer. It's unreal. And we can't find a cure. That's because it's in the food. You can't even drink water out your faucet. I bet you there's a lot of you, I guarantee you, when you're out washing your car in the summertime and it's real hot, I bet you don't drink out that water hose. Not like you used to back in the day. You're gonna go get some Deer Park or something. I just gave Deer Park a plug. I'm telling you. When I go to people's house, you want some water? Nope. Not unless they come and they say they got it in a bottle. And I'm gonna tell you something. Start worrying about some of those. Be conscious of what's going on, what you put in your body and what you're putting in, your mind by what you see. Do you understand, my brother? And it don't have to be a white-black thing to separate us. It's a human thing. Let's just deal with the truth. I'm gonna tell you something. We want these young boys to start to have some pride and start to care about their future. Start showing them who they really are. They're not savages. They're not crazy. They're not dumb. They just don't have no outlet. If you don't give them something to do, they'll do anything. I talked about this a while back about project. Why do you call it the projects? Think about it. Look up the terminology of projects. And they had, many, many people of color that was in there. How did they get the guns and the drugs and the projects? And they ain't even got cars. They got bicycles. They don't go. You know what I mean? They're not flying overseas. A lot of this stuff come from out of different countries. And it end up right in their neighborhood. If you want to look at the way society is, you go in a lot of the black neighborhoods, I guarantee there's about 2 or 3 liquor stores close by. I guarantee you. And I know white folks drink, but I'm going to tell you something. They don't put them liquor stores close to their neighborhood like they into the other neighborhoods. We got to look at what's going on. And I'm going to tell you something else. You going into these restaurants, Excuse me. How many times have you started eating something and supposed to be chicken, and you start to feel a different texture in your mouth? Huh? I be going to some of these. I'm not going. I ain't trying to bash people, but I'm trying to tell you. A couple times I done went to a couple of places and I say I want some chicken and broccoli or something like that, and I'll be like, damn, this it just ain't. I've been eating chicken a long time. Sometimes it just don't come out looking like it to me. The texture be a little. Yo, with your eyes, with your mind, we got to be conscious of what we do. And everything that you see may not be exactly what it is. Sometimes you got to think about what it is. Use some common sense in the process so you can move forward. I said peace and blessings to you. This has just been on my mind. I was thinking about this. I was thinking about the food. And I was thinking about the movie at the same time. And I just wanted to ask you, do you understand what's going on? Do you understand why it's so much turmoil? Do you understand why it's so much black on black crime and nobody's doing anything about it? Do we understand that here we got a man that's indicted so many times and here he's trying to run the country and get away with it? Huh? You see this. And here you can get a guy that's, he's just trying to make a living and tried to sell some marijuana and he gave him 50 years. We got different things that you can see. Think about it, though. They portray one thing and it means something else. And you got to think about when you're putting the food in your body. Why so many black men walking around with these big stomachs? Young. We got to be conscious. Do you understand, my brother? I'm trying to tell you. I hope that I didn't offend anybody, but I like speaking truth. And, and that's what I do. People to people, power to power, positive people. Let me tell you something. Let's talk about it Wednesday. So on Wednesday, we can talk about anything we want. Okay? And we just keep it real. So, I send peace and blessings to everybody out there. Please watch what you're eating. Please be watching, what you're putting in your mind. I'm not saying, some of the movies are entertaining. My wife, she sit down and she'd be like, Rodney, don't get in your feelings. But I'm going to tell you, some of them, as soon as I see them slap a black man and he fall down on his knees and start to kissing his feet, something like that, I turn it off. I can't watch that. Because psychologically, I becoming that guy. I become him. And when I bend down, I be coming up with a shovel or something. Or a brick or something. And it is what it is. My friend Glenn did call in, and as he said, darn well there wasn't just one man on a horse with no 20 blacks out there, and they were scared and not trying to run or something. It was more than one. But when we see it portrayed on TV, we got 1, 2, maybe 3, and we got a whole field of black people, and he'll go over and slap them, and don't nobody do nothing. You got to be kidding me. Yeah. But, it is what it is. God is good. I send peace and blessings to you. And like what I try to do is I want to deal with the facts and the truth, And, what we do is just, if we want to move forward, we got to get to a point where we deal with the truth. Okay? We got to deal with the truth. We got to make it so that we also use our mind before we use the vision, and put ourselves in a position where we pay attention to what we're eating and what we're feeding ourselves mentally as well. PTP, people to people, power to power, positive thinking people. I hope I didn't offend anybody, because that's not my intention, but I just like to speak the truth, and I like to deal with reality and see, I want to see us move forward. So I hope y'all have a blessed evening. I'm not going to eat no corn right now. I ain't gonna tell you what I'm getting ready to eat. Y'all probably say, Rodney, you said talk all that smack on here, and then you get ready to go down here and eat some tricks. I tell you, man, it's crazy, isn't it? I'll tell you, we got to get ourselves together. Peace and blessings to you.
Positive thinking people. Positive thinking people. Positive thinking people. Every Monday night.
Every Monday.
Every Wednesday night.
Every Wednesday.
Every Friday night.
Friday.
Every Monday night.
Monday.
Every Wednesday night.
Every Wednesday.
Let's talk about it
Wednesday
Wednesday.
night.
Friday, big
Every
night.
Monday night.
Monday.
Every Wednesday night.
Wednesday.